Everybody. This is day 1352, and I'm coming on a little bit earlier. Yay, okay. Um, because sometimes it gets so late that it's difficult for others to channel in. Okay, so I'm gonna go see. This is day 1352, No Sign of Life of Richard, and I know I'm trying to make some changes, but uh, you know, I'm being as authentic as I possibly can when I say we have been so busy and we have breaking news again, and we're going to share that with you today. And it's very, very important for everyone to share this information. I know that we are being shadow banned, and the time that I can live stream fluctuates so much, but it's very, and people don't get notices, I'm being told, of the live stream. But if you're, restreaming this or re listening, um, that if you can share it, that is very, very important because this is so big, y'all. This is so big. And everything is making sense why our representative, William Timmons, just couldn't even face us, and why even Lindsey Graham, Mr. Attack Dog, Lindsey Graham, that is all about the war machine and all about, uh, you know, getting into everybody, getting our soldiers over there into battle. Um, how he couldn't even face us. He couldn't even face us. Even William Timmons could stomach it once, but Lindsey Graham just couldn't even face us. And why why Captain Yoshida was crying? Why Command Sergeant Major Jakovitz was shaking in his boots? Why Sean Bernabe, JSA, PP McGee, that should tell you everything. The SJA, and why they colluded, conspired. I would say conspired. I know, there's this negative um, thought about conspiracy theories, but I'm going to tell you right now in this case, they conspired, they colluded together with 15 plus agencies without an op board um, to give a dog and pony show. And this includes with the media. It explains why they didn't call us, why they threw us out. They threw us out right after they found the cut up, burnt, abused, assaulted body of another soldier, Vanessa Guillen. And after having found another, the remains of another soldier that they had said that was AWOL, and and they threw us out. That explains why they did that and why we had to beg for them, for the Army to put Richard back on the rolls, how we had to work very, very hard with social media, uh, and as a team, and as Team Find Richard Halliday, why we even had to develop Team Find Richard Halliday, and get all of the shares, because we weren't being shadow banned at that time, right? Um, and then also we did, when we got on TikTok, we had one with 1 million views. I think it was it 1 million views? It was a lot of views. I don't know. Um, and then y- you know, it explains why We had FBI informants infiltrate Team Find Richard Halliday, why we were misled so many times, why information has been withheld from us, is still being withheld from us, why our son's remains are being withheld from us, why there was colluding with Mexico, with the Attorney General Manuel Carlos Salas's office there, targeting us, or why our missing persons complaint was tampered with over there, why the photograph that's so important for facial recognition cross borders with the Interpol was tampered with, was not a picture of Richard. It was so bad that, when you did a facial recognition using that picture, it just went like to 14% compatibility. But if you compared that picture with Dallas Hart's face, you got a very, very favorable, like 80% in the high 70% rating. To tamper with a photograph of a missing soldier of a Interpol yellow notice so that the facial recognition could not be used, and even in a morgue, because even in morgues, they use the photographs for facial recognition. So this was a huge crime that law enforcement perpetrated against the search and investigation of our son, Richard Halliday. And it explains why Nadal Baim, an FBI agent, that told the cashier in the Dollar General that, Richard's remains were found in Mexico, and it's a secret. Okay. It also explains why, when we received the CCTV footage that very day, less than an hour after he had been there, and the video testimony of the cashier herself, videotaped it, gave it to the FBI, why it was buried, and, discovering that Jesus Eddie Nieto Jr. is dirty, and he's a supervisory director for the FBI there in El Paso, and his wife working on Fort Bliss in the intelligence team, that have conflicts of interest with Bradford Bugado, the son-in-law of Nadal Baim, the FBI agent that had walked into the Dollar General. And, why Mario Raskin Ortiz Jr., Marian Raskin, is he a junior? I think he's a junior. Marian Raskin Ortiz has conflicts of interest with Angela Kachurga, this famous border reporter. Well, that's really convenient. That's very convenient. And to be working with Borderzyme with UTEP, and why, it explains why UTEP Heather Wilson, the president of UTEP, is so up to no good, right? Up to no good, y'all. I mean, really, really, wow. It just, it never ceases to be a wowzer for us, the level of corruption in this. And of course, which leads to so many, right? Because I haven't even mentioned the CID and Leilani Hart and Dallas Hart, key suspects for the disappearance and murder of our son. But I really want to talk about Bob Moore. Bob Moore and his group, the El Paso Community Foundation, which is a charitable group, and it was one of two, I believe, but it was one of the main charitable foundations that was in charge of keeping the money that was coming in. I believe I think I wrote it down here. $11.3 million was reported to have come in of donations for the Walmart mass shooting victims of August 3rd, 2019. And I say these dates and I say these names over and over again because it's very, very important. This is multifaceted. This is binational. This has everything to do with Mexico, with the northern zone of Chihuahua, Mexico, which is Juarez, includes Juarez having over 300 murders in this year alone. Um, it has everything to do with cartel. It has everything to do with a criminal network that has infiltrated our agencies at very high levels, that then have authority over the rest of us and over our monies and of course over our volunteer sons and daughters in the military services, and in this case at Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas. And it's just like I said, there's never you know you think you can get callous on all of this, but this is a huge wowzer every day. The level of corruption, and for Bob Moore, for El Paso Matters to be owned. I've been saying that he's no longer the editor. That's just, I mean, it's huge, right? It is huge. But it's so little in comparison to the fact that El Paso Matters is owned by the El Paso Community Foundation because of the IRS situations. Like, I mean, this is conflicts of interest. A charitable organization with a 509(a)(3) that owns El Paso Matters, a 501(c)(3). So, they don't want to pay taxes. They don't want to, um, these, in my opinion, from what I know, they are so criminal and they want to do it on our dime, with our dime, on our dime, and not have to pay any taxes and not have to get any audits, and at the same time be clothed in honorable clothing. uh, you know oh, it's a charitable foundation. Oh, they're doing our community so good. Oh, they're just giving us a service, and yet they are absolutely criminal in my opinion, and up to no good, and doing us a lot of harm, a lot of harm. And they're up to their eyeballs in this August 3rd, oh, 2019 Walmart mass shooting, and up to their eyeballs connected to the disappearance and murder of our son, Richard Halliday, the whistleblower. And so understanding the timeline is very important. And we have coming up a timestamp, don't we? We have coming up a timestamp. Every day is a timestamp because the 7-day week has never been broken, y'all. We know that tomorrow is going to be Sunday. We know that today is Saturday. We know after Sunday is Monday. And we can go backwards in time, 7 days at a time, which is a timestamp every day. And it's just a magnificent thing. And we can go forward and backward according to the moon. And eclipses don't happen unless it's a new moon. So of course we're having a new moon where the sun just disappears for over 60 hours, right? Just disappears. We don't know where it goes. Where did the moon go? Um, but the moon, that's a timestamp, right? When the moon is a new moon is a timestamp. And every day that it phases, when it waxes and when it wanes, every day of the waxing and the waning is a timestamp. And, people want to make it, very pagan and this and that. No, they need to create their own things because the moon is created by God. And that's not pagan. Okay? God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Ghost. And all of this talk of pagan and everything is just to trip up those that are faithful to God. Just to trip them up, to not be in awe and not have that joy of salvation, that joy of creation, to look at the moon and know that that's a timestamp that nobody can manipulate. And, so one phase is a month, right? Is a month. And so every month is a timestamp. So you can go every day is a timestamp. Every week is a timestamp, the 7-day week. Every month is a timestamp. How do you think we even got them? We got them because God gave those to us. God gave us time itself. And when it comes to the sun is a little tricky. It gives us a day, right? Gives us a day, the 24-hour, but it's not an exact 24-hour day, right? It's not exactly 24 hours. It's a day and a night, a day and a night. That's how you can describe a day, the daytime and the nighttime. And, when you read the Bible, when you understand that, it makes really good sense. But the sun absolutely keeps the seasons. And so there is a 10, 11-day difference between 12 months, right? 12 phases of the moon, 354 days, and the seasons, 365 days for a solar year. But the sun comes back again. It's very, very dependable. Very, you can count the 7-day weeks. Without the 7-day weeks, you don't have the solar cycle. It's just, it's like if you don't have seconds, you can't have minutes. You can't have minutes. If you don't have minutes, you don't have hours, right? So that's kind of how the 7-day week, if you don't have the 7-day week, you don't have the solar cycle. Because the solar cycle comes back on the same day every 15 years. You have same days on that day of the week, where the sun is, the size of the sun, everything. It's really an amazing timepiece. The moon is much easier to understand. And so, I'm just bringing this to your attention because this requires some studying, right? And this is really important because of this eclipse coming up. And also because of the manipulation of these phenomena. It's phenomenal what God has made. It's phenomenal, right? It's just amazing. And instead of being happy about it, they want to take our joy away. And this is such an exciting thing to see this 1-18-10-10 eclipse that's coming. It's just an amazing gift from God, a timestamp, okay? And all the people that are, trying to make this out to be a doomsday or whatever or something else or all of this, pagan stuff that, it's the mind of man tries to manipulate it, but they cannot manipulate that eclipse is going to show up at 2:11 and last 4 minutes and something seconds, they can, at what the certain place, right? The certain place on Earth. Even though, I'm not going to get into other things, but you would have to be at a certain place on Earth if you're going to see the total 4 minutes and something seconds of this eclipse, right? Of this total eclipse. And most people won't even be able to see the total eclipse. Where I'm at in South Carolina, I'd have to travel, right, to see the total eclipse. I'll see a partial of it. But, it's for all this talk of science in the last few years, and now they're talking all this nonsense stuff. Nonsense. Absolutely nonsense. And, so the reason why I'm bringing this up is because we have to discern everything. And in Richard's case, we were just looking at what we were facing when it came to trying to get some sane answers for the insane disappearance of our son. And, they try to manipulate. Mike, you wouldn't believe what they've tried to do. And if you don't go along in the nice way, then they start getting mean. They start getting threatening. They start harassing you. They start harassing your loved ones. They really try to intimidate you. And, just like they're trying to the world right now to put all kinds of spin on this upcoming eclipse. All the spins that they put on the COVID mandate, that farce, and all the spin and all the money that they put on in the Darwin's theory of evolution that is absolutely garbage and racist and inhumane, and what a boring book, right? Charles Darwin can't even write a book, right? If you're going to write a book that's going to change it makes you wonder, why do they promote that book, right? They must have wanted to assault those that believe in God and God himself, because the book is not worthy to be promoted. So, having strength in realizing that there is a criminal network that wants to manipulate you and steal from you, and murder your children, take advantage of our young volunteer sons and daughters, take advantage of a young baby that gets caught up in a mass shooting and gets its bones broken because his mother falls on top of him because his mother is shot and killed, right? Father is shot and killed. When you read the horrors of Walmart mass shooting, and you live the horrors of what happened to Richard and all the lies, people that you trust, we're in there with the generals that are supposed to, they have an obligation to care for our volunteer sons and daughters. And what are they telling us? We take DWI seriously. We take underage drinking seriously. That is an excuse not to look for Richard. And then they wonder why I'm Rob and I are not happy because we're hearing nonsense like that. I don't care. Richard is a missing soldier. Get your butts out there and look for him and give us sane answers. And we're trying to be really nice because we're in the middle of insanity with all of these lies with the COVID. The COVID hurt the search for Richard badly. But it hurt El Paso. It hurt Juarez. It hurt the world. It was a crime against humanity. And the generals were participating in the crimes against humanity that they knew was criminal. They knew, because we were dealing with the innards of the ranking military, and they knew. They knew. And they put our troops, our service members through hell. And because they did that, they allowed, in my opinion, they allowed the insanity of 2020, 2021, and to happen. And they're allowing what's going on right now to happen. The division of people, the vast murders, this is chaos. The chaos comes from them, not from some random thing, random way of the earth or whatever. No, God's creation is totally a timestamp every day. It is dependable. It is order. It is not random. It is not chaos. It is totally trustworthy and cannot be tampered with. And that's why the Department of Justice runs. This is what I've learned, what we've learned during this time, that the Department of Justice runs on the foundation of timestamps. And if timestamps are tampered with, then you have no Department of Justice. It's gone. It's done with. And so what Bill Hicks did, tampering with his timestamp, with his criminal activity, and totally criminal activity, and he is absolutely an illegitimate district attorney there in El Paso. Absolutely. And, I don't care what party he belongs to. He is a criminal, and he is illegitimate. Boom. And I will stand on that because of not my words, but because of evidence presented. Evidence presented that we studied and studied and studied and said, well, it could be, well, wow, ooh. And reading the Constitution, absolutely he's illegitimate, and absolutely his timestamp was tampered with. He's a criminal. This is an assault on our Department of Justice. That's what that is. By an illegitimate district attorney. It's not like he doesn't know any better. He's not a baker, candlestick maker. He's a lawyer. Of course, he didn't pass his bar the first time, but he's still a lawyer. Man, I'm a little spicy today because I'm about to read to you this timeline. This timeline that we have looked up, and could it be what's going on here? And to offer you some sanity in confusion and chaos. Because really the truth and the timestamps and the timelines offer you truth and clarity in a world of chaos. And so this is why, we get on every night, every day, and try to offer some clarity in this, and try to be open for other people to come and tell us what they know. We absolutely are, right here we are, and we're on many different platforms to do that. And there's a lot of fear out there, and I'm going to tell you why there's fear. because in this case, they know it is a huge criminal network. It, maybe not huge, but what I mean by huge is it's broad. It's broad. It the people are very strategically placed in positions that make the criminal network function. And, Bob Moore is one of them. So, remember, El Paso Matters is owned by El Paso Community Foundation. That is so big. That is so big. Because they're just up to no good. Because El Paso Matters is up to no good. And that means that if they're owned by El Paso Community Foundation, then El Paso Community Foundation is running this whole thing. They're running this whole criminal network. That's what that means. There's no way around it. What, Bob Moore is doing this through El Paso Matters? No! You're giving him way too much power if you think that he's doing it on his own. No way. No way. And our open records absolutely give evidence that this was a network. Okay? And so in July, how does El Paso Community Foundation play a part in all of this? Well, in July of 2020, it came out that the $11.3 million had been paid out, except for $50,000 for some, they gave excuses and all this. But $11.3 million had been paid out. And we know that Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia received tens of thousands of dollars. To be exact, $70,000 she received as a victim of the Walmart mass shooting. Now, Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia wasn't even there, from what I know. Maybe she can come on and say, no, I was there. I had trauma or whatever. But what kind of vetting did they do when they gave this money out? Okay? Because she received tens of thousands of dollars. And her ex-husband, Alexander Gerhard Hofmann Roth, you can say Roth, in German, he's German, you say Roth, right? Okay. He was found deceased, shot, killed, and I want to be very respectful. He was a victim of the Walmart mass shooting in the front entrance of the Walmart. Okay? The problem is that they had been divorced for over 20 years. They had been divorced for a long time. And they weren't living together. So, what's going on here? Why is she getting tens of thousands of dollars? Okay, let's say you're on her side. Fine. Why didn't the baby with the broken bones get any money at all? Why didn't that baby get money? That baby is a true victim. That baby was in the Walmart, was under his mother, who had been a victim of the Walmart shooting. Shot and killed. The father shot and killed. And yet, that baby didn't get any money? Okay. say everything was on the up and up. But it wasn't on the up and up to Yvonne Rosales, the district attorney at the time, and her office. They did not like the way El Paso Community Foundation was distributing the money. And so they started investigating. And the one thing that, would determine what's what would be an audit, right? So they started investigating, which means there's going to be an audit. How much money do you have? Where's this money going? You're talking about millions of dollars here. You're talking about funds coming in from the office of the governor, right? So this is taxpayers' money coming in on top of the donations, on top of corporations' monies giving in, right? So this is a mixed bag of monies, right? Which is also a little strange, but it's a mixed bag of monies. And Yvonne Rosales, we have confirmation. She was investigating, her office was investigating the distribution of the funds for the Walmart victims. Okay? That started in after the money came out. So anytime after, and I'm going to get an exact date on that, but through 2021. So you had the Walmart shooting, August 3rd, 2019, donations coming in, state funds from the office of the governor coming in, El Paso Community Foundation being the arbiter, where the money is going, even some like the Hunt Group giving money to it, right? That would be deposited in West Star Bank. And they had this money. They're starting to figure out how to give out this money. Yvonne Rosales gets money. The baby that was in the hospital for broken bone. I just can't even imagine. I just doesn't get any money, right? And I say that because I can't even imagine the hospital bills and all this. Doesn't get any money. And in 2021, an investigation starts. What's going on here? And then Bob Moore. So here's Bob Moore's group. He's owned by El Paso Community Foundation. So in August 2022, he starts going on social media like Facebook and discussing how to remove the duly elected district attorney of El Paso, Yvonne Rosales. Who is he discussing this with? With Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia's attorney, Justin Underwood. And Justin Underwood comes up with a plan with the right attorney. And, to have this kind of stuff revealed in open records is, you're like, what? And Omar Carmona was the right attorney. He put in the petition to have her removed. So they were colluding. They were conspiring to get rid of the district attorney that was her team, her office, investigating how the money was being distributed from Bob Moore's group. That's August. So we have August 2019, the Walmart case, all the funds coming in, funds being given out to Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia, tens of thousands, nothing given to the baby with the hospital bills because of his broken bones. An investigation starts 2021. 2022, Bob Moore starts discussing in public how to get rid of Yvonne Rosales. And in October of 2022, El Paso Matters starts putting out the stories of false allegations. Who's making the allegations? Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia. She's making allegations, false allegations against Yvonne Rosales. Now, that is, if that's not a wowzer, and that continues. That continues from October all the way through even into 2023, because they got rid of Yvonne Rosales, right? They used Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia, the same person that received the tens of thousands of dollars, the same person that is using Justin Underwood for her attorney, that comes up with this plan, colluding with Bill Hicks and Bob Moore on how to get rid of Yvonne Rosales, and uses just the right attorney, Omar Carmona, to put in the petition. Wow. Yeah. And of course, it doesn't just stop with Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia. This is where our son's case comes in. They use Leilani Hart to make false allegations, which then gives that huge connection. What is Leilani Hart, the convicted criminal from Dreams Cabaret, the mother of Richard's platoon leader, Dallas Hart, who she says is involved in incest and the sexual assault of a 7-year-old child of a Fort Bliss soldier in her master bedroom, with her multiple members of her family that are involved in this kind of activity. And what is she doing? Attacking to the team that was trying to figure out why this baby with broken bones is not a victim in the Walmart case, right? Why this baby that was in the Walmart that was smashed down on the ground by his mother being shot to death, next to his father being shot to death, why is he not a victim? And Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia and Leilani Hart are putting false allegations against the very people that want to know why this injustice is happening. And Leilani Hart is a main suspect in the disappearance, the murder, and the cover-up of our whistleblowing son, who made Child Protective Service complaints, who made IGCA, who was talking to DC, who was talking to Houston FBI. And the generals admitted that they were under audit because weapons were out of control, flush in the barracks and unregistered, and all kinds of oh my gosh. Yeah. This means El Paso Community Foundation needs to be investigated. Every little inch of it, every timestamp of it needs to be investigated. For the sake of El Paso, Juarez, the Walmart mass shooting victims. And let me tell you, the kicker, I don't even know if I can say it that way. The real weird thing about this is that Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia and her ex-husband were not strangers to the El Paso Community Foundation. They are not strangers to them. They were not strangers to them for a long time, way before the Walmart mass shooting. Apparently, seemingly, they're not strangers at all to that El Paso Community Foundation, Bob Moore's group. And so I know it's Saturday night. I know this is like jaw-dropping information. So I'll leave that there, but I did want to tell you about this eclipse and why I call it the 1-18, the 1-18-10-10. And of course, I'm learning every day. So, but from my calculations, from what I know, April 8th, 2024 is the first eclipse in the eclipse cycle of 18 years, 10 or 11 days, which encompasses 70 eclipses, about 70 eclipses. The character of these eclipses might fluctuate slightly, but they are very dependable, 70 eclipses in 18 years. And they're so dependable that you see that they can say, on April 8th, there's going to be a full eclipse, a total eclipse, and it's going to happen in this place, and it's going to take this kind of path. And that path is very interesting because this is like the Nineveh path, I guess. You know, this, and I checked this out. Nineveh, Texas, Nineveh, Missouri, Nineveh, Indiana, Nineveh, Ohio, Nineveh, Pennsylvania, Nineveh, Virginia, Nineveh, New York, and even Nineveh, Nova Scotia, and Canada. You know, so this is like the Nineveh path. And this is nothing new for these paths, right? Because all over the world, you have these paths. You have it coming down from England all the way through Spain, the St. Michael's path, right? The ley line, St. Michael's ley line. So these paths are, in the past, I guess they were really well known for these names to be there, to exist. And maybe that's why sometimes they want to change the name of everything and get rid of our history, because they tell a deeper story, maybe a time-stamped story, right? And of course, this number one eclipse in this 18-year cycle. And what do I mean by the 18-year cycle is that cycle repeats itself, that this eclipse will happen again in 18 years, 10 or 11 days. And then it'll happen again, and it'll happen again. And so this is 1 in the 18. And it's the 18 is the 10th 18 in in this great astronomical year. You can call it a great astronomical year. So there has to be 36 of them to make the 651 great astronomical year, which then will repeat on the self same day, just like a 7-day week. Cut and paste 651 year. It's eclipse cycle, the great eclipse cycle. So it's made up of 18 of these cycles. And don't believe me. I'm not the one saying it. Just go and look at the 19-year lunar cycle, the Metonic cycle. Go look at the whole eclipses you can check it for yourself, because they date the eclipses back pretty far, and you can go into Farmer's Almanac, and it'll have the golden day, the golden year in the Metonic cycle. We're in year 7 of the 19 years, and so you don't have to believe me. Just go and research some of these old publications in the archives, and they're just fascinating. And that 651 years, we are in the 10th one, which is a whole nother just amazing timestamp. So there's been 9 651 great astronomical years already happened. And how do we know that? Because of the lunar cycle, the solar cycle, the 7-day week, the eclipses. All these cycles are like cogs, and they all direct you backwards to the prime day, the day of creation. And so if you're trying to push forward this billion year, we're 4 billion years old or whatever, theory of evolution, and make money off of it, or try to deceive people, right? With that, you don't want people to know that we're in the 10th great astronomical year, because that means we're only about 6,000 years old. And oh my gosh, those young Earth, young creationists, they might have something to say. These Christians, they might have something to say. So it is proven, though, with evidence. And that evidence is coming in, this is 11/16. So in a day and a half, right? Just about a day and a half. We know at 2:11 in the afternoon, we're going to see that eclipse, that beautiful eclipse. And we know in October we're going to see another one. And the neat thing about this number 1 eclipse is it's called Adam's eclipse, I think, in my book, Adam's eclipse, because this is what Adam saw. This is what Adam saw at creation. And if that doesn't give you a skip in your walk, and a firm foundation to stand for the truth, and you don't have to believe me, just go look it up. It's really amazing. It really is. And it really does give you power against the hypnotizing false narratives that are out there. So I guess this is going to be the Nineveh path. The Nineveh. Anyway, which is good evening. Good evening, Anicia. Thank you for coming on. So I came on earlier today, which is wonderful. So I took the opportunity to do that. And so I hope that you rewatch this live stream, because I talked about the El Paso Community Foundation, which is really huge. the timeline of Bob Moore, the deception of July 2020, the distribution of all of the funds, all of the donations that came in, that were, it looks like it to me that it was illegally given out, that Rosa Maria received tens of thousands of dollars, while the baby that was a true victim with broken bones was given nothing. And because of all of that, Yvonne Rosales was investigating. That happened in 2021. And investigating what was going on with the funds. What's going on? Is there crimes being committed by Bob Moore's group, El Paso Community Foundation? And who owns El Paso Matters? Okay. And then in August of 2022, Bob Moore gets on Facebook and publicly starts talking to, and this I didn't mention earlier, Justin Underwood, Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia's attorney, who was ad litem in the Walmart case, okay, which was under gag order. Yet he gets on Facebook and discusses, really it was his theory, right? We'll put in a petition with just the right attorney, and the petition, who it may concern. I mean, that doesn't happen. So this was really illegal. Everything was illegal. And that happened in August 2022, where Bob Moore is colluding and conspiring to remove Yvonne Rosales, who is investigating how the funds were being distributed by Bob Moore's group, the El Paso Community Foundation. And October of 2022, the Attack Dog articles, the false allegations against Yvonne Rosales started and continued, with Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia being the one making the allegations. The very person that received this money, and her attorney being the one breaking the gag order and coming up with the plot to remove Yvonne Rosales. I kid you not. And of course, continuing the false allegations with Leilani Hart, the convicted criminal of Dreams Cabaret, and the mother of Dallas Hart, who, his mother says is engaged in incest, child pornography, and sexually assaulted a 7-year-old in their master bedroom with multiple members of the family. Household. Yeah. Comes, Bob Moore's using her. And she is a key suspect, a prime suspect in the disappearance, murder, and cover-up of our son, Richard Halliday. That's how this all gets connected. And it continues, him using his platform, which is a 501c3 that's owned by a 509a3 charitable foundation, the El Paso Community Foundation, to be attack dogs with false allegations that is harming the Walmart case and Richard Halliday's case. That's how this all comes together. And so El Paso Community Foundation needs to be investigated, and please share this information because it is huge. It's huge. So I wanted to talk about that, and also to give you, just some, introduction that in the next 2 days, when all of this talk with this eclipse that I think it's like, really? Really? Why don't we just all go out and watch it and have a great time? From, if you're in Texas, if you're in Nineveh, Texas, you're going to see it, or Nineveh, Missouri, right? Or Nineveh, Indiana, or Nineveh, Ohio, or Nineveh, Pennsylvania, or Nineveh, Virginia, or Nineveh, New York. You're going to see this eclipse pretty well. Um, why not enjoy it? Have a party. Um, because it will happen again, not in that same path, but it'll happen again in 18 years, 10, 11 days. And if you want to see it in the same path, you'll have to wait 651 years. You'll have to be like a Methuselah, right? So, this is a timestamp from God, and we need to celebrate it because it cannot be tampered with. Even though now, people are saying, oh, they're going to shoot up rockets and try to see what it is and all that. Oh, okay. We'll see what happens. If something bad happens, it's not going to be because of the eclipse. It's going to happen because of criminal networks, criminals that are up to no good. That's why it's going to happen. So, just be vigilant and stand firm in the joy of God's creation. Okay, everyone, thank you so much. God bless you. That was a lot of information. And I just want to say thank you so much for sticking with us. And please share, 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 comment, and like. Thank you. God bless. Bye bye.